Have you noticed it? That quiet shift inside you. The urges that once felt unstoppable have suddenly disappeared. The cravings that once whispered in your mind day and night are gone, like someone turned down the volume on a noise you didn't even realize was so loud. At first, it feels confusing, even alarming. You wonder if something's wrong with you, if maybe you've lost a part of yourself forever. But here's the truth. Nothing is wrong. In fact, everything is finally beginning to go right. And this is something that every chosen one, or divinely selected being ever faced in their life. This change inside you isn't random. It's not a weakness. And it's definitely not an accident. What you're experiencing is a hidden transformation, a sacred process that very few people ever go through. The loss of your desire is not the end of something, it's the beginning of everything. Think about it. All your life, that energy has pulled you in one direction, toward distraction, toward quick pleasure, toward people who didn't deserve pieces of your spirit. But now, something greater is happening. The energy that once chained you to the same cycles is being redirected, purified, and prepared for a much higher purpose. Most people never escape the trap. They stay stuck in the same patterns until the end of their lives. But you're different. You are a chosen one. You've been chosen to rise above. And the very first sign that you're stepping into that transformation is the silence where the cravings used to be. So the real question isn't, why did this happen to me? The real question is, what am I being prepared for? And to answer that, let's start with the first truth, one that may surprise you. Your desires faded because you are here to break cycles that have lasted for generations. For centuries, families have passed down more than just physical traits. They pass down wounds. They pass down habits. They pass down silent chains that bind one generation after the next. Maybe in your family it looked like broken relationships, unfaithfulness, or a constant chasing of pleasure without ever finding real love. Maybe it looked like emotional emptiness, hidden behind forced smiles. These patterns aren't just mistakes, they are cycles. And cycles, if not broken, repeat forever. Now here's where you come in. Yes, you were chosen to break the pattern. That is why the cravings that once consumed you no longer have power. When your desire suddenly begins to fade, when those urges that once kept you running in circles lose their grip, it's not just about you. It's about your entire lineage. You are the interruption to the pattern. You are the one strong enough to face the silence, strong enough to resist what others couldn't, strong enough to break a story that's been playing on repeat for decades. Think about it. If you still felt the same overwhelming cravings, you might have continued on the same path, repeating the same mistakes, entering the same unfulfilling situations, and carrying the same chains. But when those cravings vanish, space is created. Space for clarity. Space for healing. Space for a new direction. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. The removal of those urges is a tool the universe uses to free you from cycles that didn't start with you, but were never meant to end with you either. And while it may feel uncomfortable at first, what you're experiencing is actually liberation. You see, when one person in a bloodline chooses differently, everything changes. The curse ends. The pattern breaks. And suddenly, generations that come after you inherit freedom instead of bondage. That's why this moment is so important, because your silence, your discipline, your strength, it's not just saving you, it's saving everyone connected to you. But breaking cycles is only the beginning. Once the old is shattered, there's another stage waiting for you. The detox. Because to step into your new season, you can't just be free from family patterns. You also need to be free from the noise of the world around you. Chosen ones, now just look around for a moment. The world we live in today is louder than it has ever been. Everywhere you turn, There are messages, images, and distractions designed to keep your mind busy and your spirit weak. Social media scrolls filled with temptations, advertisements that play on your insecurities, entertainment that glorifies lust while stripping away love. It's a constant flood of noise that conditions people to crave what never truly satisfies. Now imagine trying to hear your own soul in the middle of all that noise. Imagine trying to listen to the voice of God when 1,000 other voices are shouting over it. This is why your desire has been silenced. It's not just about breaking old cycles. It's about clearing the clutter, about removing the static so you can finally hear what's been calling you all along. The fading of your cravings is like a spiritual detox. Without even realizing it, you've been hooked on stimulation your whole life. Your mind learned to run toward pleasure every time it felt stress, boredom, or emptiness. And while that habit may have looked harmless on the outside, it was draining your energy, keeping you distracted, and making it impossible to focus on your higher purpose. But now, something different is happening. You're being reset. Those distractions are losing their grip. The world may try to shout louder, but for the first time, you're beginning to notice the silence underneath. That silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. It's the stillness where real growth begins. And here's the beauty of it. In the quiet, you start to notice things you couldn't before. Patterns in your life become clearer. Emotions you once buried rise up to be healed. Ideas, dreams, and visions that were drowned out by noise finally have room to breathe. You are detoxing not just from desire, but from the entire system that kept you blind and asleep. And once the noise is silenced, the next step becomes clear: protecting your energy. Because as a chosen one, your spirit cannot be given away carelessly anymore. One of the most overlooked truths about intimacy is that it's not just physical, it's spiritual. Every person you connect with carries their own energy, their own wounds, their own shadows, and whether you realize it or not, those energies leave imprints. Some are uplifting, but many are heavy, toxic, and draining. Think back on times you've been with someone who left you feeling empty, confused, or unsettled afterward. That wasn't just your imagination. That was energy transfer. And the more you connected with people who weren't aligned with your spirit, the more their energy tangled with yours, weighing you down and pulling you off course. But here is the blessing. When your cravings vanish, when you no longer feel pulled toward meaningless connections, God is shielding you. He is building a wall of protection around your spirit. He is saying, "Chosen one, your destiny is too great to be contaminated. Your energy is too sacred to be given away." Because here's the truth. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone is meant to touch your spirit. And when you're called to a higher purpose, casual connections are no longer just casual, they're dangerous. They can blur your clarity, dim your light, and keep you tied to people who were never meant to walk your path. So when you feel those urges fading, instead of mourning the loss, see it for what it really is: divine security. A protective barrier between your spirit and the chaos of others. It's not rejection. It's not deprivation. It's mercy. Chosen ones, always remember that protection always comes before promotion. And this season of protection is proof that you are being prepared for something greater. Because after God shields your energy, He begins preparing your heart, not just for anyone, but for a divine connection that will change everything. Most people settle for relationships built on surface-level attraction. They chase chemistry, passion, and thrill, only to find themselves empty when the fire burns out. But the reason your desires have been silenced isn't because love has been taken away from you. It's because real love is being prepared for you because you are chosen by the Almighty Himself. This season of silence is about purification. It's stripping away the habits that tied you to shallow connections so that when the right person enters your life, you'll meet them from a place of wholeness, not emptiness. You won't be reaching for them to fill a void. You'll already be complete. And here's the beautiful part. The connection being prepared for you is different from anything you've known before. It won't just excite your body. It will awaken your spirit. It won't just give you companionship. It will align with your purpose. This is what some people call a divine counterpart. But in reality, it's much more for the chosen ones. It's the joining of two divine chosen souls who carry missions that are bigger than themselves. But this type of union requires preparation. It requires you to detox, to protect your energy, to break cycles, because only then can you recognize real love when it shows up. Without this preparation, you'd confuse lust for love, attraction for alignment, passion for purpose. But after this silence, you'll know the difference instantly. So don't see this as loneliness. Don't see it as something being taken away from you. You are chosen, and you must see it as sacred preparation, because when the time comes, you won't just meet a partner. You'll meet a mirror of your growth, your strength, and your higher self. Chosen ones, let's talk about something most people never realize. Your sexual energy and your creative energy are not separate forces. They are the same current, the same power source, flowing through you like electricity. And when God pulls you away from using that energy in shallow ways, it doesn't vanish. It multiplies. It transforms. It becomes the fuel for creation. Think about it. The same force that can bring a child into this world is the same energy that can birth visions, ideas, movements, and entire legacies. But when that energy is misused, it leaks. It gets poured into people who don't value it, into habits that drain you, into distractions that leave you empty. That's why God is redirecting your energy. It's not punishment, it's preparation. When those urges fade, something else awakens inside you. Suddenly, your focus sharpens. Your thoughts become clearer. You notice yourself thinking about goals you've been neglecting. Dreams you once buried start rising to the surface. The business idea you wrote off suddenly feels possible again. The book you said you'd write, the song you thought you'd record, the vision you had for helping others, all of it begins to stir. Because your energy is no longer being scattered into dead ends. This is the hidden secret of manifestation. The world tells you to think positive and visualize. But manifestation is not about empty affirmations. It's about energy. Pure, concentrated, directed energy. And that's exactly what you're being given right now. Every drop of life force once wasted is being gathered into a sacred reservoir inside you. When you wake up in the morning with a fire you can't explain, when you suddenly feel unstoppable momentum building in your spirit, when opportunities start showing up out of nowhere, understand that this is not coincidence. It is creation. It is your energy finally flowing into the right channels. And here's the part most people will never understand: this shift doesn't just benefit you. It radiates outward. Your energy begins attracting people, resources, and doors that were locked before. You'll notice strange synchronicities, the right phone call at the right time, a chance meeting with someone who can help your vision, money coming in from unexpected places. Why? Because you are no longer wasting your inheritance on lust. You are investing it into destiny. Chosen ones, this is your season of creation. God is using what once seemed like a loss to birth something greater. Don't mourn the fading of desire, celebrate it, because it means you are entering the realm where thoughts become things, prayers become reality, and faith becomes sight. You are not being denied. You are being equipped to manifest a life beyond what you once thought possible. And if you feel that stirring in your soul right now, understand this. You are not just surviving. You are building. You are manifesting. You are stepping into a reality designed for the chosen. Have you noticed it? You walk into a room and instantly feel the atmosphere. You sense people's intentions without them saying a word. You start dreaming vivid dreams that feel more like messages than random imagination. This is not madness. This is awakening. You see, your sexual energy is a powerful current, and when it's not being drained externally, it transforms internally. It climbs your spiritual ladder, activating gifts that have been dormant within you since birth. Your intuition sharpens, your discernment deepens, your awareness of the unseen increases. Suddenly, God's voice becomes clearer, not always in thunder or burning bushes, but in subtle nudges, in the way certain numbers keep appearing, in conversations that feel divinely timed, in the way your heart tugs at you when you're about to make the wrong move. This is what chosen ones experience, a turning up of the spiritual volume. While others are distracted by fleshly urges, you are perceiving patterns, connecting dots, and seeing signs that most overlook. And the more you honor this process, the stronger your higher senses become. Clairvoyance, prophetic dreams, healing energy, deep discernment. These gifts are not just for special people. They are for chosen ones who have allowed God to redirect their energy inward. But here's the key. These gifts are not for show. They are not for ego. They are tools for your mission. When you discern someone's spirit, it's not so you can judge them. It's so you can protect your energy. When you receive prophetic insight, it's not so you can brag. It's so you can guide others. God is activating these senses because your assignment requires spiritual vision, not just physical sight. Chosen ones, lean into this. Pay attention to the coincidences. Journal your dreams. Listen to your gut when it screams at you to pause. Because what's happening is not random, it's refinement. The silence of your flesh is the amplifier of your spirit. And what you're hearing now is the call to destiny. Chosen ones, one of the hardest truths on this journey is that something in you must die before something greater can live. And that's exactly what's happening when your sexual cravings fade. The old self is falling away. Your flesh, your ego, the part of you that once chased empty satisfaction is being stripped down. Not because you're broken, but because you're being rebuilt. Think about it like this. A snake cannot grow without shedding its skin. If it clings to the old layer, it suffocates. The same is true for you. The cravings of the flesh were part of the old skin. They had to go, because the new you cannot rise carrying that weight. This death feels uncomfortable. You might even question yourself, wondering, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel like I used to? But chosen ones, that discomfort is proof of transformation. You are no longer moved by impulses, you are being guided by intention. And what rises in the place of the old? A spirit that is sovereign, a mind that is clear, a soul that is aligned with heaven's rhythm. The you that once felt bound by desire now walks in freedom. The you that once settled for lust now demands purpose. The you that once chased pleasure now creates legacy. Chosen ones, this is not the end of your desires. It is the rebirth of them. When they return, they will no longer control you. You will control them. They will no longer be chains. They will be tools. And that is true freedom. So do not fear the death of the old self. Celebrate it. Because every ending for the chosen is really a beginning. Your flesh dies so your spirit can command. Your cravings fall so your calling can rise. And when the dust settles, what remains is not the old you, but the chosen you. Chosen ones, you must keep this one thing in your mind, that God is not grilling you down for fun. He is preparing you for purpose. And, chosen ones, your purpose is too great for you to remain attached to the same temptations that hold everyone else down. That's why the process feels lonely sometimes. That's why you've been wondering why you don't fit in anymore. It's because you were never meant to. Your mission requires focus. Your calling demands clarity. The people you're going to lead, the lives you're going to impact, the light you're going to spread, they cannot afford for you to be distracted. So what feels like a loss is actually God's way of sharpening your sword. Think about a warrior. Before battle, the sword must be forged in fire, hammered, and refined. That process looks violent, but it produces strength. That's you. Chosen one, you are being forged. Every craving that died, every habit that broke, every chain that fell off, that was the fire shaping you into a vessel God can use. And when the time comes, you will realize that what you thought was weakness was actually power. What you thought was emptiness was actually preparation. What you thought was loss was actually gain. So hold on. Trust the process. Don't mourn what's leaving, anticipate what's coming. Because when God equips a chosen one, the world feels the impact. And you, right now, are in that exact season of transforming. So boldly declare today that I am ready. Send this vibration to the universe and type 1111 in the comments to seal this word in your life as a declaration that you're ready for the next chapter. Stay blessed. Stay aligned. And remember, you are chosen, and your journey is only just beginning.